Hey guys, this is Ryan with Mama on Mission, and today I am bringing you curriculum choices for the 2020-2021 school year. That is a mouthful, but this is the science video of that. I'm doing this collaboration with Ingrid over at the Ingrid Chronicles, so check out her video in the playlist down below. Check out her channel also if you haven't. So, science for this year. We kind of have a plan A and plan B. I'm not 100% sure how this will work out. We're kind of waiting to hear how our co-op's gonna go. I don't know about you guys, but everything for next school year is kind of up in the air as far as things outside of the home, whether you go to a co-op or sports or whatever. With the coronavirus and everything, it's just like no one really knows what's gonna happen. So I will just kind of share with you our plan A and plan B, and I'll let you know later what we finally decide to do. So our plan A is to do Apologia Astronomy. We have done 3 years of Apologia Science and we love it. I love the layout. I'll explain why here in a minute. But we will hopefully be doing astronomy with our co-op, and they will do a lot of the demonstration and experiments and projects and stuff there. And I will do the teaching section mostly at home. Now, if that doesn't happen, we've kind of tossed around the idea of doing botany also from Apologia, but I think what we will probably go with as a backup is Apologia Zoology 1, which is the flying creatures. Now, our co-op did this when my son was in kindergarten, and at the time we weren't, kindergartners weren't doing what the rest of the elementary kids were doing. So my kid kind of missed out on that with our co-op, so we will go back and do that potentially as a backup plan. So here's what we have done in previous years. We have done, in first grade, he did Zoology 2, which was the swimming creatures. In second grade, he did Human Anatomy and Physiology by Apologia. And then this past year, we did Chemistry and Physics, which I will put a review video of that out soon. And that seems kind of out of order from the order that Apologia suggests you do it in. They typically suggest you do Zoology 1, 2, and 3. Zoology 1 being the flying creatures, which is our backup plan for next year. Zoology 2 being swimming creatures, which he did, and then Zoology 3 being land animals. But because our co-op did what they did, we wanted to do what they were doing, and it worked out fine. There's no real need to do them in a specific order. It's just kind of a suggestion. And my first grader does this with us too. So we have loved all of them. I think my personal favorite was the Human Anatomy, just because that's kind of the type of science that I like. Just seeing the intricacy in God's making of man. But all of them have been really good, and all of them obviously point back to a very creative and amazing, powerful God. So this is why I like Apologia's curriculum, all of it, and well, specifically their science, but I also like their Bible curriculum. But I like it because their textbook is also on MP3 form that you can download, or I think you can actually send off for CDs too. And I love that because I can put it on during lunch and I can give my voice a break. Then my kids can still be listening to it. I can still be listening to it along with them while I'm preparing lunch and they're eating, and we can kind of multitask that way, and I can take a break from reading because I read a lot and I don't like to kill my voice. So I also like that it doesn't read like a textbook. It is very factual and there are tons of facts in there, but it reads more like someone is just talking to you, kind of not necessarily telling you a story, but just like sharing something with you that they're very passionate about, and I like that approach. It's more of a conversational writing style, I guess. And I also love that the demonstrations and experiments are already included. They've already thought all of them out. They already have all of they list all the different materials you're going to need. And then they just put them within the book. They tell you, like, after you read this section, here, do this. I think they call them the try this is what most of them are called, where you do some sort of demonstration or some sort of experiment. And then at the end of the chapter, they usually have one bigger experiment that has to do with the things you learned throughout the whole chapter. And You can either do all of them, you can do some of them, you can get a co-op like I have that does them for you, which is great. Or you can even, because our co-op year got cut short this year, I was left with, okay, now do I do all these experiments at home? And I did do a few of them, but also I used this wonderful thing called YouTube and looked up other people doing these experiments, because most of them are things that even if you don't have Apologia, there's somebody who's done this type of demonstration or experiment. And so that was a great tool for us to use. I also love them because of their notebooking journals. They have a junior version and a regular version. This next year, my older son will be in 4th grade and he'll be moving into the regular version. My 1st grader will probably stay in the junior version. And I love it just because there's tons of stuff in there. If you wanted to do it all, you would not ever have to add a single thing to that to make it a full year curriculum. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. But I don't feel pressured to do every single thing. There is copy work, there are coloring pages, there are little booklets you can put together, there are crosswords, fill in the blanks. I mean, it's all the different worksheets and all the different like little crafty type things all put into one book, where it's all right there. And in the beginning, they even have day by day, read this amount of pages from the textbook and do these worksheets. And like I said, I don't do them all, and it's okay. Sometimes we simply just listen. Some days we do all the experiments and all the workbook pages. I mean, it's so like freeing just to be like, I can do a lot or I can do a little, and they're still getting something out of it. So that is why I love Apologia and why we will be sticking with it next year. Again, we could be going the astronomy or biology route. If not, then we will definitely be going with Zoology 1, which is all about flying creatures. And I think my favorite thing about Apologia is that it really does, like I mentioned in the beginning, point to God as the center of it all. It's not preaching at you, but it is simply saying God is the creator. And at the beginning of each lesson, there's some sort of Bible verse, and the copy work is typically a Bible verse, just pointing at God as the creator and how creative he was in his creation, and how it all centers around him and how it all exists because of him, and how nature and science are cool and wonderful things, but they are not cool and wonderful without God as the center, because that's where it all comes from. And eventually, I mean, someday scientists all will understand that. And anyway, I digress. So I thank you so much for watching. Please come back next week when we talk about another part of our curriculum for what we're using next year. Let me know down below if you are a homeschooler what you plan to use for science next year. I'll talk to you later.